Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about some animation cancels and other things that you can do with Graves. I see a lot of new Graves players since he's risen up in the power rankings, and I see a lot of people who either don't understand how to do the animation cancels, they try and fail, or they just in general don't understand how to fully utilize some of his strengths. Since the Rengar and Kha'Zix nerfs, Graves has probably become the strongest jungler in the game because he can do a damageless clear, and he just has so many little tools in his kit that people often overlook. If you don't know how to do the damageless clear already, Tarzan has a really useful video explaining what kind of pathing you should do, as well as how to do your clear without taking any damage. You can actually go from blue all of your camps down to golems without taking any damage or using pots. So if you're new to the jungle and you'd like to learn something about that, Tarzan's video on Graves is very helpful. For this video though, I'm going to be talking more about the mechanical side of things, as well as when you should be making the decision to use some of these tricks. First and foremost, let's talk about Graves' E. Graves' E is definitely his most important ability. It's where all of his mobility comes from, his True Grip passive, which makes him tanky, and there's another functionality which is often overlooked, which is every bullet that hits while you have your E on cooldown will actually reduce the cooldown by 0.5 seconds. And since your auto attacks fire 4 bullets, if you get a full 4 bullet hit on someone, you're actually reducing the cooldown by 2 seconds every time. For an ability that has an 18-second cooldown, you can see how quickly that you can reduce that down to basically nothing. Another hidden functionality of his E that a lot of people overlook is the True Grip passive. They recently changed it so that if you dash in any direction, you only gain 1 stack, but if you dash towards an enemy champion, you gain 2. And I'm only level 6, and dashing towards an enemy gives me 10 armor and MR, which is basically an extra room page. And if you can actually keep that up while in combat, then you can quickly get up to 40 armor and MR. It's incredibly useful, and like I said, it's often overlooked, especially when you're clearing the jungle. You can actually maintain those True Grit stacks throughout your entire clear. Without further ado, I'll talk about some of the animation cancels. First, I'll talk about the auto reset, which is auto, E-auto. This is absolutely crucial to clearing with Graves. In order to do any of his other tricks as well, you need to be fairly comfortable with using his E-auto. You know, this is how he kites, that's how he chases, that's basically, there's just so many things rolled into this single ability that you should be very comfortable using it before trying to do some of the more advanced tricks. The first 2 cancels I'll talk about are the QE and WE cancels. So the QE is very limited in its uses. You should actually always auto before using a QE because, like I said, that E reloads a bullet and you're just missing out on an auto attack. Since Graves only has 2 auto attacks before he has to reload, it's very precious to get all of those auto attacks. And you just want to be as efficient as you possibly can. Now for the WE has a lot more uses because of the animation that happens when you use W. So as many of you know, when you're walking towards something and you use W, Graves does that little stutter step where he fires the W, like so. And if you're trying to chase someone down and hit a W at max range, well, that little stutter step is often the difference between getting a kill or someone getting away. It also has a slight slow, but if you're taking that little stutter step, oftentimes that slow doesn't even matter because they're just going to keep walking through while you're stopped for a half second. So we use WE, which is literally just W and then E instantly, and that lets you close the gap a little bit. It's one of the only chase tools that Graves has, so it's definitely a useful trick to have in your tool belt. The next trick I'll talk about combines the Q and W cancel. So, I'm not quite sure how to explain this, but I'll do as best as I can. When you auto attack, and then use an ability, and then use your E, it completely cancels the animation, and you can actually do that with more than one ability. So, for example, the R cancel, which a lot of you are familiar with, is auto RE. And as you can see, you just entirely cancel that animation and knockback, which is very useful because if you've ever been in a situation with Graves where you try and snipe someone with your ult at low health and they live, well, your ult knocks you back and now you're screwed. But if you're in auto range, you can just easily auto RE, close the gap a little bit, and guarantee that full damage on your ult while also disguising it. Because as you can see, it's very difficult to realize that, you know, Graves is using his ult when he's just dashing towards you and it comes out at the same time. Anyways, so for this QW cancel, what you're going to need to do is auto, and then you're going to want to use Q, W, and E almost simultaneously. So I'll show you what it looks like. So auto, Q, W, E. So as you can see, I just laid down all of my abilities and 2 auto attacks in a split second. It's pretty useful pre-6, especially when you're trying to invade, or you know, you're catching someone out in a bush. For example, you're over here, you're invading the enemy blue, and you're hiding in this bush. Some poor sucker walks over here, and you use your Q, W, and E at the same time. You get that true grip passive, you get the blind, you get the slow, both halves of your Q. It's just very, very hard to react to that in time. Now, it also has limited use because if you're not in auto range, well, obviously you can't do it. And it's also a little bit inconsistent. You need to be pretty precise with the timing on a lot of these tricks where you're using more than one ability, because you just don't have as large of a window to get the animation cancel. Now, as I said, you can combine more than one ability, so instead of QW, we're going to do QR, which is essentially the same thing. We're doing auto Q, but instead of W, we're going to use R, like so. Auto Q, RE. That is your largest burst, and it's really useful because you can just basically disguise all of your damage coming out with the E. You know, unless someone knows what you're trying to do, it's super hard to react to that. And yeah, there's many different ways that you can do that. You can chain any of these abilities together in, you know, combination of 1 or 2. If you instead of doing auto QWE, you could do auto WQE. Let's do that one more time. Auto WQE. Generally, I like to get my Q out first, just so I can get that second part of the Q to come back as soon as possible. So, but like I said, you can combine these in any way that you want. You can even do auto WRE, which I don't see people do, but oops, it's definitely possible. So auto WRE. I guess if your Q's off of cooldown, you know, you could use that W to get the blind and just cut out the animation of the, you know, because we've already talked about how crappy that is. Another thing that you can do that's pretty interesting is if you use your W first or your Q, then you can you can auto and then do the animation cancel. I'll try and explain what I'm talking about. So instead of doing auto WQR, or sorry, I messed that up, but so since you can only chain 2 abilities together, if you want to get all 3 of these abilities down, you're going to need to use one first and then auto and then do the cancel. So W auto QR. That's how you get all of your abilities down in the quickest possible manner. That's pretty useful too. Keep in mind that, there is a slight delay when you're using the W first, so generally it's safer to just do, auto QRE. But if you can pull it off, by all means, W auto QRE. Oops. W auto QRE. There. And the last thing we're going to talk about is using flash to gap close even further. So let's pretend that this right here is Varus. He's just raining hell on your team, but you got this fatty in front of you, so all of your bullets get blocked. Now, obviously, you can either E, and you can even do like the R cancel just by using this guy to kind of use him almost as like a stepping stone to get past. You just use that auto to get the cancel. Another way to do this though is you can actually flash auto or auto flash. So I'll show you what the flash auto looks like. So I'm going to flash auto RE. So just like that. If you're looking to completely one-shot someone, you're not going to want to use that auto on the tank, the frontliner. So, flashing over and doing that, that's a very, very fast burst of damage. You can also, as I said, do it with an auto flash instead of flash auto. This is a lot harder to pull off, but in my opinion, it's harder to react because if you flash in someone's face, it's almost a natural reaction to flash away. So you'll see that get dodged out by people who have really good reaction times. But the auto flash is almost impossible to dodge. So I'm gonna auto flash RE. It comes out really fast and honestly like, oops. So auto flash RE. Just comes out so fast, it's so hard to recognize what's happening. The downside obviously is that it's way less consistent than the auto R flash or even the just the regular auto RE, but it obviously has its upsides as well, being that no one's really going to expect you to auto flash and then RE. It's a unique little way to mix things up, I guess, if someone's reading your combos. So that actually concludes our video for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. If there's anything I missed or something that you'd like me to touch on a little more, leave a comment in the comment section and I'll be happy to get back to you. Thanks for watching.